Hi, seniors. So I figured we had our state board Marcel curl practice video, and you have the link and information to access the state board haircut video. So now we're going to practice the state board perm, and we're going in order of how these would be at state board too. So you would have already had your mannequin draped, towel cape towel, okay? And she would still be leftover wet from doing the haircut. And now I'm going to go ahead and read what state board would read to you or what they would say to you. So we have, and I just want to give a little disclosure. My kids are in the other room, so if it gets noisy or anything distracts me, that's why. But anyways, chemical wave. You will now perform the chemical waving portion of this exam. The center back section of the head will be wrapped from the top of the crown to the nape hairline. You will be instructed by your examiner to apply simulated waving lotion to 2 rods. This procedure is 20 minutes, and you will be informed when you have 10 and 5 minutes remaining in your procedure. You are not required to part off for your 9-section partings. Please have all of your steps completed and your simulated waving lotion in hand and ready before you have an examiner evaluate you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the whole procedure, okay? And what I want you to do is to wrap your perm following all state board procedures. And then when it's time for you to apply your solution, I want you to click record and record you applying your solution. So gloves in hand, gloves on, and solution in hand, just like you would do at state board when you're ready to tell the examiner that you're ready. You would press record, and that's what I want to have you recording doing is applying that solution to 2 rods as I show you in this video. And then I'm going to have you unwrap a rod and so I can make sure that you've got your ends in the end paper properly and try to see what all I can to give you any kind of feedback for you to continue practicing on your own while we're doing school at home. All right, so trying to find my clock here so you got an idea of time. So they said they'll give you a 10-minute warning and a 5-minute warning, okay? So I'm going to just set it for 20, and we'll see if I can remember to give us a warning. But either way, you'll be timing yourself when you do this, so you don't need to worry about my timing. Okay. So, sanitize. It's in your drawer. Get your bottle that you would have already filled up during setup. Get your perm rods. And get your comb and your end papers. Leave everything else in your drawer. And then remember the little trick to separate those papers. Twist them, fan them out. Ooh, these are short ones. That's okay. Now I'm ready to touch my mannequin. Sanitize again. And okay, so my mannequin had I was showing how to do some extensions and last year, and she still has extensions in her over here. So we're just gonna ignore those. So we just need to get a little center mohawk section here that's about the width of, that is the width of your perm rods. And you want it to be pretty centered up. Oh, there we go. Checking my size. We have a happy toddler that just got denied coming to see his mom. I thought giving him a popsicle before I started would do the trick. Not so much. All right. I am pushing through to get this video done. Squawking, screaming, toddler and all. All right. Top of the crown, so I don't have to go all the way to the apex. I just have to go to the top of the crown. Okay, so we want to over direct. So find your spot on your head, 90 degrees, go 45 degrees past that. Nice even tension. I like to spray a little water on my station so I can get some grip to grab my end papers. I'm going to suggest doing a double end wrap. Ooh, nice. These papers are old. I would discard that. Remember, if you want to check the size of your subsection, go with the end of your rod, hold it straight on there, and then you'll be able to tell if your subsection is the right size. Because, of course, if your section's too big, you're going to have gaps, and if it's too small, they're going to be crowded. Keeping that tension even as you wrap, get that band straight across, no twisting, and I'll show you once I get these wrapped to try to give you a better view. Hope my head doesn't fall off the stand. Making sure my paper is going past those ends and the ends are not twisted. They're just going straight around the rod. I'm doing good with old perm rods and old papers. Had my paper break, now my band break, but I got it fixed. Guess I kind of simulate some fun things that could happen. It's straightforward to you. Checking my subsection size. And maybe I need to be closer. There we go. Let's see. Now remember, if you drop anything on the floor, or if anything falls into your zone on the floor, you are responsible to discard it and sanitize your hands. Don't leave it there until the end because you'll lose points. So if you got end papers that fall on the floor, pick them up, discard them. So you notice even tension, you're holding that rod parallel. Let that band untwist, go across the top of the rod. Look too big. Remember, you want to hold your hair at the base, at the bottom there, so that way any layers you might have cut in there during your haircut don't fall out. And if they do, just add a single wrap on top. Put your head down so you can keep your positioning, your elevation. Discard. I'm used to using very strong tension, and these perm rods were from when my husband went to, or these perm rods and these perm wraps were from when my husband went to beauty school. So they're a little old. Okay, we're making do. So you're combing it into the elevation position that you want. Get those loose hairs out of there. Keeping that hair in the center of the rod. You need to re-wet. Go right ahead. And when I say that I squirt a little bit of water on my station, I just squirt it in one little spot. You don't want to go wetting down your whole station there. Be considered a safety violation. Remember how I said making sure your caps are all open? That's going to help you with speed. You don't want to be opening caps when you're being timed. Oh, I'm getting into my old extensions here, so this will be interesting. Little micro bead sew-in combo. Okay, so we got our 10-minute warning. So here we're going 45 degrees past. Keeping that strand free from tangles, comb nice and straight, even tension, parallel rod as rolling towards the head. Rolling under, we want to keep them all on base, okay? It's a lot easier to control and make sure you're doing all on base. I know when you read the packet, they don't specify what base position, but that they all just need to be the same. But doing them all on base will ensure that you're doing the same thing to all of them, so they can't take points off for doing Some having them off base or off base. Do them all on base. Just checking my bands. Okay, so with your bands, okay, by the way, 6-minute warning, okay? Now I'm going to fumble with the thing to try to show you. Oh, where are we? Can we see? Can you see where the bands are? They're not, I don't know if you can see or not. Okay, they're not indenting or making a crease, all right? But they're still going, maybe if I go this view. Okay. See, they're not indenting or making a crease or a line, okay? But they're still going across the front top because you want it to be secure. Okay, you just don't want it too tight. So you've got to find that happy medium, okay? And they're not twisted, okay? That's another thing. Now, get in my bag. Get my cotton. Get my gloves. If you really want to be on it, you could even sanitize before you get in your drawer because you were just touching your mannequin. Okay. Sure it'll, and you can see they're not bunched. They're not, there's no spaces between them. Okay. Gloves in hand. And then this is where I would have you start your video. Okay. So you can say this is how long it took me to wrap. So it took me, what I said, 6 minutes left. So it took me, what, 11 or 12 minutes to wrap this. Okay. And then here's our perm solution. So we got our cotton on, we got our gloves on. And what I want you to do, and they're just going to have you do 2 rods at stave board, but I'm going to have you practice doing the whole head. Okay. So what I'll have you do is, can we see? You're going to go, you want to go from the very end of the rod to the other end of the rod, not just the hair. I want to be ensuring that you're getting all of the hair. So that's why it's very important that you're going from one end of the rod. See how I'm squeezing out a steady stream? And then I'm going to tilt the rod up a little and I'm going to do the bottom of it, end of rod. Okay. And if it looks like it's not completely saturated, and I don't know what you can see in this video, I tried to get lots of lights in here. Go across it again. Okay. So end of rod, across top, back to the underside, go a couple times. Get it really visually saturated. Okay. We don't want it dripping. But we want to be able to tell it's saturated. And I do not want you scraping your nozzle across the hair. You would lose points for safety. So you want to make sure you're controlling that stream, end of the rod, other end of the rod. Okay, you can even do a couple times. But I want to make sure that whole rod, so even if you're doing like that back and forth motion, and the rod, and no scraping on the hair, okay? And then you're just going to go all the way up the head for the purpose of this video, for me to watch your technique. And you're controlling your stream. You're not getting it every place else. You're getting it purposely on the rods. Okay. Now, what I'll have you do for the sake of this video, and I'll just have you unroll one. Okay. So just go right here in the middle. Unroll. So I can see. So you're going to make it really obvious. See how I'm holding? I found the base of the paper and it kind of sticks. Find that base of the paper and then gently unroll so I can see that your end is completely straight and around the rod, and that the paper is going, there's my paper line, that the paper is going past the end of the hair. Okay? So I think that should be good. And then 2, if you need to get your camera, which will be your Chromebook, and get any closer on anything, you can, okay? So some of you did really good, or most of you did really good at your angles and your lighting. Just kind of, I know it's so weird doing it on a video, but if your back is standing in front of your head, I can't see what you're doing. So if you just kind of look back, okay, and if you need another like up close of how to saturate, get a little closer. I've got my computer sitting on like a rolly cart. Okay, and again, we're gonna go, if I go right here, is that which is good. I'm turning the rod down. I'm going from one end of the rod to the other, flipping it up, and I'm going like pretty much, I would say you can even do like top, middle, rotate, underside. Okay. Now mine is dripping because I've demonstrated several times how to do it. Okay. We don't want yours dripping when you're doing it. If you have any questions, just let me know. All right. All right. Stay forward perm.